Before we get into today's video, I want to take like 30 seconds to tell you about a really cool event that NetEase is putting on. It's called the Matham Mastermind, and there will be a link in the description of this video down below. It is a fan fiction contest, and the winner is going to be flown out to New Zealand to see the set of Lord of the Rings. That's like one of the coolest prizes I think I've ever heard of in terms of like a game prize. What you need to do is write a story about the Matham Peddler, and you can submit it through this submit button on the website. There's actually a ton of different prizes that are going out. Lots and lots and lots of prizes. Some of them are structured in a way that the more people who participate, the more gems are given out. But the grand prize, like I said just a second ago, is actually a trip, literally a trip to New Zealand, and you get to see where the movies were filmed, at least the Shire part. I doubt, that NetEase is going to fly people to every single filming location for Lord of the Rings, because obviously there are a bunch of them. But link in the description below, so if you're good at writing, or you think you have a cool idea for a backstory or whatever fan fiction you want to write about the Matham Peddler, best of luck to you. And now, let's get to the video. A few people recently have asked me about how the guard mechanic works and how the order of combat on tiles works, so I thought it might be a good idea to make like an quote-unquote advanced PvP mechanics video. A lot of you guys will probably know these things, but for anybody that doesn't, hopefully you learned something, and let's get into it. So we'll talk about 3 little tips, tricks, mechanics, pieces of knowledge, whatever you want to call it. We will start off by talking about the order of combat on tiles and the guard mechanic. So first of all, the guard mechanic provides no buffs, no bonuses, no nothing, and it has no impact on the order of combat. Order of combat, and what I mean by that is the order in which armies fight, if there are multiple armies on one tile. The order of combat is completely dependent on when armies landed. The most recent army to land will always fight first, and then it goes in like reverse order, I guess you would say. So for example, if Commander A landed and then B and then C, they would fight in order of C, then B, then A. It doesn't matter if an army is standing on a tile that is being guarded by a different commander. There is no like tile priority, or whatever you'd want to call that. I've heard that sort of myth or rumor before. If the army that is guarding a tile was on that tile more recently, or landed and then guarded that tile more recently than the army that was already on the tile, the army that is guarding will in fact fight before the army that is occupying the tile itself. So that's order of combat and guarding. All guarding does, and it's a very powerful and fantastic mechanic, all guarding does is allow your army to defend more than one tile at a time. So it is super important for things like guard rotating, guard swapping, whatever you want to call that, where you occupy a like circle of tiles, everybody stacks in the middle, puts on guard, and then whenever your army gets hit, you drop the guard so that you can reinforce. That way you don't take back-to-back fights with a half-dead army on the second fight. Very powerful mechanic and a good one to understand. However, no buffs, no bonuses. It does not impact the order of combat. It is purely a chronological order thing based on when armies landed on the tile. All right, tip number 2 is what I call a 1 command reinforce. I'll show you how to do that with my King of Men army. So basically, the situation is you have taken a fight, you want to stay on the tile and hope that you can reinforce in time, but maybe you have to step away to take care of your child or do some work or go on a walk or whatever, and you want to make sure that your army doesn't get hit at half strength. What you can do is you can actually drop all of your command to 1, or if a unit is totally dead, leave it at 0, except that now your army is going to be at 1, 2, or 3 command. I call it the 1 command reinforce because you just drop every single unit in your army down to 1 command or less. Then go ahead and start reinforcing with whatever ratio of units you want. Since you are not adding or removing units from your army, this is exactly the same reinforce speed as if I had just reinforced with the 39 command or 29 command, whatever I had left. Obviously, it doesn't matter in this situation because I'm pretty safe in my fort over here, at least for the next 15 minutes. I doubt anybody's going to get over here and attack me. However, it would be way more useful, for example, on Eowyn's army, but I wanted to show tip number 3 with Eowyn's army. But that's something that, in my opinion, you should pretty much always do. Unless you have enough command to definitely take a follow-up fight, you don't lose anything by dropping everything down to 1 command and then reinforcing. If you get hit, you lose a couple command, no big deal. If you don't get hit, now you're still occupying that tile wherever you were. You don't have to spend the time going back to your fort, then walking back to the front line, etc., etc. A very important aspect of guard rotating or bunker tiles, whatever you want to call the things. I feel like we need like an official community word for a tile like this, a big 2x2 tile where you take all the surrounding tiles, everybody activates guard, and then you reinforce between fights, whatever we want to call that. 1 command reinforcing can be an important aspect of that in case they do get through the guards and you're not fully reinforced yet. They're going to start hitting the stack itself. Maybe you take a fight and then you're sad because you lose like 40 command of units instead of 1 or 2 command of units. And the final tip/trick is the ghost army, the empty army, whatever you want to call that. And it's actually quite easy to do. So the situation would be you've just taken a fight and you have a unit who has 0 troops left. So they are totally eradicated. You would want to use this like if you're going to go AFK for the night, and you just want to trick somebody, or like you just want somebody to burn stamina. You're out of stamina maybe on your commander, so you're not going to take another fight anyway. So what you would do is, let's say, I didn't want to like do this live because we are fighting in this area, but let's say your army looks something like this right after the fight. You're at about half, you're out of stamina, you're about to go to sleep, whatever, except this unit here is 0 command, 0 soldiers, nothing left in the tank. Well, what you would do is you would just click off both of the other units, and normally it's not going to let you save your army because it says, hey, there are no more units here, we can't reinforce nothing. Well, just start reinforcing. Now those units are coming to you. Go back to the reinforce screen, cancel the reinforcements, and it's just kind of a loophole with the system that's like there's kind of a check in place that says, well, you can't have a 0 unit army, but the game thinks that you actually have units because you're reinforcing those units, but then you stop reinforcing units, so you don't. So I'll run through it again one more time. Let's just pretend that this was our army. This is what was left of our army here. You click off everything except for the totally dead soldier. Start reinforcing with 1 command, 100 command doesn't matter because you're going to cancel it anyway. Go back to the reinforce screen, cancel the reinforcements, and now you have a 0 command army. It's going to look like a real army is there to your enemies. They're going to see it just like this. So, you can hope that they send a real commander there and you burn 20 stamina. If they do clairvoyance the tile, which obviously I can't clairvoyance my own tiles, it will show up as there are no armies present on this tile. So clairvoyance does get around it. You can also do this to like stack on keeps and stuff in Rebuilding Glory with the fake stacks that are inside the doing the tips or whatever you want to call them. I believe that's how you do it in Rebuilding Glory. I haven't played Rebuilding Glory in a little bit, and I haven't tried it in Rebuilding Glory, but I think that's how people do it. So anyways, got a little distracted at the end there. That's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are there any other mechanics that I should talk about and let people know about? And thank you for watching.